The night was deep, and the mountains surrounding the abandoned hotel were quiet and still. Arun, Meena, and Raju had returned to the lobby after exploring the hidden basement chamber. Their hearts were full of wonder from what they had discovered. The hotel, once forgotten and silent, now felt alive in a gentle and mysterious way. Shadows from the broken lamps danced across the walls, and the faint creaks of the old building seemed like whispers of the past. Raju suggested they rest for a while before exploring any more. They sat on a long wooden bench near the fireplace, even though the fireplace was cold and empty. Meena held the small journal from the chest in her hands, flipping through the pages with careful fingers. Each entry told stories of travelers, celebrations, storms, and strange events. "Do you think there is more to see?" Arun asked. "We found the chest, the maps, and all the letters. Is there anything else hidden in this hotel?" Raju smiled. "This hotel has layers. Some things are visible. Some things reveal themselves only to those who pay attention. The walls, the furniture, even the floors have memories. And sometimes they guide people to places they need to see." Meena looked at him with curiosity. "What do you mean by guide?" Raju pointed toward the staircase leading to the upper floors. "Follow the footprints, the marks, the small signs. They will lead you to rooms that hold stories or objects that teach lessons. You have seen some already. There is more if you are willing to look." Arun and Meena exchanged a glance. Their adventure had taken them further than they expected. What had begun as curiosity about an abandoned hotel had turned into a journey through history, mystery, and the unknown. They were ready to continue to explore the next part of the hotel. Carefully, they climbed the stairs again. The red carpet was worn, but it still ran through the hallway. Their flashlights illuminated the doors and the shadows along the walls. The footprints they had seen earlier seemed to appear again, faint but guiding them forward. They reached a large door at the end of the corridor. Unlike the other doors, this one was intact, solid, and heavy. Its wood was polished despite the years, and a faint symbol was carved in the center, a mountain with a rising sun behind it. "This door looks important," Meena said. Raju nodded. "It is. Few people have entered this room. It is where the hotel kept its most treasured memories, the stories that could not fit in the basement chest." Arun took a deep breath and pushed the door open. It groaned but allowed them inside. The room was magnificent. The walls were lined with old shelves filled with books, manuscripts, and paintings. Some paintings showed mountains, rivers, and forests. Others were portraits of people who had stayed at the hotel long ago. The room smelled of old paper and polished wood, a comforting yet mysterious scent. In the center of the room was a round table with several objects neatly placed on it. There were delicate carvings, small models of the hotel and mountains, and glass jars filled with tiny stones, feathers, and leaves. Each object seemed carefully chosen, as if it held a special meaning. Meena picked up a small model of the hotel. "It is exact," she said. "Even the broken parts are included. Someone made this to remember every detail." Raju explained. "Yes, the owner loved the hotel and he wanted to preserve its story. He created these models and objects to capture the life that the hotel had witnessed. Each item has a story. Each tells something important about the people who came here and the times they lived in." Arun turned toward the shelves and found a row of journals similar to the one they had discovered in the basement. He pulled one out and opened it. The handwriting was elegant and the entries were detailed. They spoke of daily life in the hotel, visitors who came from faraway places, festivals celebrated with laughter and music, and strange events that occurred unexpectedly. One entry described a mysterious visitor who had arrived during a stormy night. No one knew where he came from, yet he seemed to know the hotel well. The entry said that the visitor left a small wooden box behind, containing a message for anyone who discovered it. Arun looked at Raju. "Could this be the box we need to find?" Raju nodded. "Perhaps. The hotel leaves clues for those who are curious and brave. Follow the signs and you may find it." Meena noticed a small rug near the corner of the room. It looked ordinary, but under the flashlight a faint symbol appeared, a tiny sun carved into the corner. She lifted it and found a small trapdoor underneath. Her heart raced as she called Arun and Raju over. The trapdoor led to a tiny hidden compartment. Inside was the wooden box mentioned in the journal. Arun carefully opened it. Inside were several papers, a small key, and a folded note. The note read, "To those who seek the truth of this place, The mountains, the hotel, and its memories are yours to discover. Respect the past, live in the present, and the future will guide you. Mina unfolded the papers. They were maps of the mountains indicating secret paths, caves, and streams. Some maps showed hidden areas around the hotel that few people had ever visited. The key was old but beautifully crafted, with symbols matching the carvings they had seen on the basement chest and the attic chest. Aaron felt a thrill. The hotel is showing us everything now. We have discovered the past and it is leading us to explore the mountains properly. Raju smiled. Yes, the hotel is not just a building. It is a guide. It teaches respect for nature, history, and the unknown. Those who come with curiosity and care can learn much from it. Mina carefully placed the papers back in the box. She felt a sense of accomplishment. They had uncovered the hidden secrets, the treasure of memories, and the true story of the hotel. Aaron felt the same. The hotel had shared its soul with them, rewarding their courage and patience. Suddenly, a soft wind blew through the room. The lamps flickered and shadows danced across the walls. It was not frightening, but calming, as if the hotel itself was acknowledging their discovery. Haroon and Mina looked at Raju, who nodded silently. "It is time to rest," he said. "Tomorrow the mountains await. You will see their beauty, their secrets, and perhaps discover more hidden paths. But for tonight, let the hotel sleep and let yourselves rest too." They carefully closed the trapdoor, returned the box to its hidden compartment, and left the room. Walking down the corridor, the hotel felt peaceful. The echoes of the past were gentle now, as if the building was happy that its story was being understood. In the lobby, they sat near the fireplace again. The stars outside shone brightly over the mountains. The wind whispered through the trees, carrying the cool night air. Aaron and Mina shared their excitement and thoughts. "This adventure has been more than I expected," Mina said. "I thought we were just exploring an old hotel, but it feels alive. It has a soul." Aaron nodded. "Yes, it is full of stories, mysteries, and memories.
And now we are part of it too."
We have discovered its secrets and learned to respect them." Raju smiled. "Remember, the hotel will always be here. The mountains, the rooms, the secret chambers, they remain. But the true gift is understanding its story and carrying it forward with respect. The hotel teaches patience, curiosity, and care for history and nature." The night grew deeper, and the three of them decided to sleep in the sunlit room they had found earlier. They laid out small blankets and pillows and rested, knowing that tomorrow would bring more exploration and wonder. The hotel, majestic and silent, watched over them, keeping its secrets safe but ready to reveal more to those who approached it with respect. Before sleeping, Mina whispered, "I feel like the hotel chose us to discover its story." Aaron smiled and nodded. Raju turned toward the window, gazing at the mountains, and quietly said, "It chooses those who are ready." The mountains stood tall. The forest around them whispered with the wind, and the abandoned hotel held its history, its treasures, and its secrets. Arun and Mina had uncovered the story of the Mountain View Hotel, a place frozen in time but alive with memory. The adventure had come to a close for the night, but the bond between the travelers, the hotel, and the mountains would last forever. They slept peacefully, surrounded by the whispers of the past and the quiet strength of the mountains. Outside, the stars shone as if guarding the hotel, and inside, the building rested, knowing its story was now safe in the hands of those who respected it. The abandoned hotel, silent yet alive, waited patiently for the morning, ready to reveal its beauty and mysteries to the world, and to anyone brave enough to explore it. Aaron and Mina knew that they had not just discovered a building, they had discovered history, adventure, and the hidden magic of a place that time forgot but memory preserved. The town was small but full of life. Houses were painted in bright colors, children played on narrow lanes, and shopkeepers greeted each customer with a smile. In this quiet town lived a little girl named Mira. She was 9 years old, full of energy, and always curious about the world. Mira was not like other children who only thought about games or sweets. She had a soft heart. She helped her neighbors, cared for birds and plants, and shared whatever little she had with anyone in need. Mira's days were simple. She went to school in the morning, carrying her bag filled with books and her lunchbox packed by her mother, Sunita. She liked learning, but she loved walking home from school even more. The walk gave her time to notice small things around her. She liked to see butterflies land on flowers, listen to birds sing in the trees, and wave at the old gardener who always watered the plants near the road. One afternoon, As the sun shone gently and the cool wind brushed across the fields, Mira walked back from school with a smile on her face. She was humming a tune she had heard in class when suddenly her steps slowed. A strange sound reached her ears. It was faint at first, almost hidden between the noise of rustling leaves and the call of distant birds. But then she heard it again, soft and weak like a whimper. Mira looked around with curiosity. She followed the sound and found a bush by the roadside. Carefully, she bent down and moved the leaves apart. What she saw made her heart stop for a moment. Lying in the dust under the bush was a small dog. His fur was tangled and dirty, his body thin and his ribs visible through his skin. He looked hungry, weak, and frightened. One of his paws had a cut and his eyes were full of pain. Yet when he saw Mira, he did not growl or bark. He only stared with tired eyes as if asking silently for help. Mira felt her heart ache. She had always loved animals, and she could not leave him like that. She knelt down and whispered softly, "Don't be scared. I will not hurt you." Her voice was calm and gentle, like a friend speaking kindly. The little dog blinked slowly, but he did not move. Mira opened her lunchbox. There was a piece of bread and a small apple left. She broke the bread into small pieces and placed them in front of him. At first, the dog only sniffed the air, unsure if he could trust her. But hunger was stronger than fear. Slowly, he stretched his neck forward, grabbed a piece of bread, and chewed it quickly. His tail moved slightly. A small wag that showed a little trust had started to grow. Mira smiled. She felt warm inside as she watched him eat. She placed the apple beside him too, but he ignored it. She whispered, "That is all right. You can eat only what you like." She sat there patiently until he finished the bread. The dog licked his lips and looked at her again. She noticed his paw with the wound and frowned. "You are hurt," she said softly. "I will help you." She thought about her mother's first aid box at home. But first she needed to take him with her. She stood up slowly and said, "Come with me, friend. I will not leave you here." The dog tilted his head. Mira began to walk slowly, looking back to see if he followed. For a moment he stayed still. Then, with a weak effort, he pushed himself up and limped behind her. His steps were shaky, but he did not stop. Mira's heart filled with joy when she saw him following her. She decided to call him Moti later, but for now he was just her little friend. When she reached her house, Mira ran inside quickly. She went to the kitchen and filled a bowl with milk. She also grabbed some soft cloth from her mother's cupboard. Her mother, Sunita, noticed her rushing about and asked, "Mira, why are you in such a hurry?" Mira looked up, her eyes shining with excitement. "Mama, I found a dog near the road. He is hurt and hungry. Please let me take care of him." At first, Sunita frowned. She worried about stray animals. But when she stepped outside and saw the dog waiting near the gate with those sad eyes, her heart softened. She saw how gently he wagged his tail when Mira returned. She understood that this bond was already strong. She sighed and said, "All right, but you must take responsibility. He will be your friend, so you must care for him." Mira's face brightened like the sun. She placed the bowl of milk near the dog, who lapped it eagerly. She then cleaned his paw carefully and tied the cloth around it like a bandage. The dog licked her hand in gratitude. Mira laughed softly and said, "You are welcome, little one. From now on, your name will be Moti. Your eyes shine like pearls." Moti wagged his tail more strongly this time. He seemed to understand. That evening, Mira played with him in the garden. She threw a small stick, and though Moti was weak, he limped after it and brought it back. Her laughter filled the air, and even her mother, watching from the doorway, could not help but smile. From that day, Mira and Moti became inseparable. She woke up early to feed him and hurried home after school to play with him. She brushed his fur, talked to him about her day, and even whispered her secrets to him. Moti listened quietly, his eyes shining with love and loyalty. What Mira did not know was that saving Moti's life was the beginning of a new journey. The bond she had formed would soon grow into something deeper. Moti was not just a stray dog anymore. He was her protector, her loyal companion, and one day he would do something that would change her life forever. The next morning, Mira woke up with a smile. The sunlight streamed through her window and the air smelled fresh and sweet. Moti was already awake, sitting near her bed with his small tail wagging gently. He had slept on the soft rug her mother had placed for him the night before. Mira bent down and patted his head. "Good morning, Moti. Did you sleep well?" Moti barked softly and nudged her hand with his nose. Mira giggled. "I think that means yes." After breakfast, Mira prepared to go to school. She filled Modi's bowl with fresh water and left a small piece of bread in case he got hungry while she was away. She knelt down and whispered, "Be a good boy, Modi. Wait for me here. Don't go anywhere." Modi watched her carefully, his eyes following every movement. When Mira opened the door to leave, Modi ran a few steps with her, then turned back and sat at the doorway. He seemed to understand her words, waiting patiently for her return. At school, Mira could not stop thinking about Moti. She told her friends about him during lunch break. "He is small and weak, but I think he understands me," she said proudly. Her friends were curious. "Can he really understand you?" asked one. Mira nodded. "Yes, he listens. I think he can feel what I feel." After school, Mira rushed home. When she reached her street, she saw Moti sitting exactly where she had left him. His tail wagged as she approached, and she felt a warm happiness in her heart. She knelt down and hugged him gently. "Did you wait for me, Moti? You were so good." Her mother smiled from the kitchen window. "He is already part of our family," she said. Over the next few days, Mira noticed that Moti was not like ordinary dogs. He seemed to watch her closely, almost as if he understood what she was thinking. When she was sad, he would rest his head on her lap. When she laughed, he would jump around playfully. He even seemed to recognize when danger was near. One afternoon, Mira was playing near the garden when she heard a loud noise. She looked up and saw a large kite stuck in the neighbor's tree. She knew it belonged to Ravi, the boy next door. She wanted to help, but the tree was tall and she could not climb it. Before she could think further, Moti ran forward and barked loudly. Mira followed him as he moved toward the tree. Then he stopped, looked at her, and barked again. Mira understood. She smiled. "You want me to call someone for help, don't you?" She ran to her mother and explained the situation. Her mother came outside, and together they helped Ravi get his kite back. Moti stayed near them the whole time, his eyes alert and watchful. When the kite was safe in Ravi's hands, Moti wagged his tail as if he knew he had done a good job. Mira realized that Moti was special. He was not just her friend. He seemed to care for everyone around her. He noticed things she did not see and acted quickly whenever there was trouble. She felt proud of him. One evening, a heavy storm hit the town. Rain poured and wind blew fiercely. Trees swayed dangerously, and water began to collect on the streets. Mira and her mother were inside, worried about the small animals outside. Suddenly, Moti ran toward the gate, barking urgently. Mira was surprised. "Moti, what is it?" she shouted over the sound of the rain. Moti ran down the street a little way and stopped. He barked again, then ran back to Mira as if urging her to follow. Curious and worried, Mira grabbed an umbrella and ran with Moti. When they reached the corner, she saw a small kitten stuck in the water. The rain had washed the mud around it, and it could not move. Without Moti, Mira might not have noticed the kitten in time. She gently picked it up and carried it home, drying it with a towel. The kitten meowed softly and nestled in Moti's side. From that day, Mira understood that Moti had a unique sense of awareness. He seemed to protect her and the people she cared about. Sometimes when she played outside alone, he would stand near her, watching every movement, guarding her from possible danger. Mira felt safe. She could trust Moti completely. Moti's loyalty became clear in other ways, too. One afternoon, Mira went to the market with her mother. She had her bag full of groceries, but Moti stayed outside, sitting quietly near the entrance. A group of children ran past and accidentally bumped into Mira's mother, making her drop a basket of vegetables. Moti barked loudly, startling the children. They stopped immediately. Mira's mother looked around and saw Moti's serious eyes. The dog did not growl at anyone, but his presence made everyone careful. He stayed alert until all the groceries were safe. Mira's mother patted his head. "You are a brave little dog, Moti. Thank you for keeping us safe." Mira noticed that Moti was also very smart. He learned quickly. She taught him small tricks like fetching her slippers, bringing newspapers, and even carrying her bag when it was not too heavy. He would do these tasks happily, and each time Mira rewarded him with a small treat. Moti wagged his tail and licked her hand. One evening, while Mira was reading a story in her room, Moti lay at her feet. She was imagining adventures in faraway lands when suddenly, Moti barked loudly. Mira looked up and saw smoke coming from the kitchen. She jumped to her feet, realized something was burning, and ran with Moti to put it out. Together, they saved the kitchen from a small fire. Her mother hugged her tightly, amazed by Moti's quick alertness. "He saved the day," she said. "I think he knows more than any ordinary dog." From that moment, Mira realized that saving Moti's life had been more than an act of kindness. Moti had come into her life for a reason. He was more than a pet. He was her protector, her companion, and a little hero in his own way. Every day the bond between Mira and Moti grew stronger. They played together, shared meals, and explored the town. Neighbors began to notice the little dog with bright eyes and a gentle heart. Children followed him when he walked, and adults smiled when they saw him running happily beside Mira. Moti's loyalty and courage made Mira feel special. She knew that wherever she went, he would be there, watching, protecting, and loving her. She also began to understand a bigger truth. Kindness never goes unnoticed. By helping Moti, she had not only saved a life but had also gained a friend who would change her life in ways she could never imagine. And little did Mira know, the day was coming when Moti would show an act of bravery so extraordinary that it would leave everyone amazed. But that story would unfold slowly, one small step at a time. For now, Mira was happy, safe, and full of love for her loyal little friend. The following week, the town was preparing for its annual fair. Children ran through the streets holding colorful balloons and laughing with joy. Stalls were set up along the main road selling toys, sweets, and snacks. Music filled the air and everyone was excited for the day. Mira could hardly wait. She wanted to go with Moti, knowing he would enjoy the crowd and the games as much as she would. On the morning of the fair, Mira got ready quickly. She packed a small bag with water, some bread, and a little towel for Moti. She called him gently. "Moti, today is a special day. We will go to the fair together." Moti barked softly, wagging his tail in excitement. He ran around her legs, jumping with happiness. Mira laughed and patted his head. "All right, little friend. Let's go." The fair was lively. Bright flags swayed in the breeze and children ran past with cotton candy in hand. Mira held Moti's leash tightly, making sure he did not get lost. She bought a small toy for herself and gave him a tiny piece of bread to enjoy. Moti sat beside her patiently, watching the people and animals around him. As they walked near the edge of the fair, Mira noticed a little boy struggling near a small pond. He had leaned too close to the water and his foot slipped. He fell into the pond, splashing loudly. Panic spread across the crowd. The boy flailed his arms, unable to swim, and began to sink. Mira gasped. "Oh no," she shouted. She looked around for someone to help, but the crowd froze in fear. She could not leave the boy alone. Her heart pounded as she thought of Moti. She whispered to him, "Moti, we have to help him. Can you come with me?" Moti barked sharply, understanding her words. Without hesitation, he ran toward the pond. Mira followed, holding his leash loosely but keeping pace with him. When they reached the edge, the boy was already struggling to keep his head above the water. Moti jumped into the shallow part first, his small paws splashing water as he got closer to the boy. Then he barked loudly, grabbing the boy's attention. The boy reached out instinctively, and Moti nudged him gently with his nose. Mira held the leash and carefully guided Moti closer, giving him support. With courage beyond his size, Moti stayed close to the boy and pushed him toward the edge of the pond with small, steady movements. Mira helped pull both of them out safely. The boy coughed and shivered but was unharmed. Moti shook himself, water flying in all directions, then wagged his tail proudly as if nothing had happened. The crowd erupted in applause. People cheered and clapped, amazed by the little dog's bravery. Mira hugged Moti tightly, tears of joy in her eyes. "You are amazing, Moti. You saved him." The boy's mother ran over and thanked Mira and Moti repeatedly. "I do not know what would have happened if it were not for you two," she said, holding her son close. Moti wagged his tail again, licking the boy's hand gently. Mira smiled, realizing that Moti was no ordinary dog. He had a heart full of courage and loyalty. From that day on, people in the town began noticing Moti's special nature. Neighbors whispered about how a little girl and her dog had saved a child from danger. Some children wanted to pet him and others wanted to play with him, but Moti stayed calm and patient, always by Mira's side. That evening, as the fair ended, Mira and Moti walked home slowly. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow across the town. Mira looked at Moti with admiration. "You are not just my friend," she said softly. "You are my hero." Moti nudged her hand and looked up at her with his bright eyes. It was as if he understood every word. Mira laughed and patted him gently. She felt safe and happy, knowing that Moti would always be there for her no matter what happened. Over the next few days, Moti continued to show his intelligence and care. One afternoon, Mira was practicing writing in her notebook under a tree. Moti lay beside her, watching a small group of sparrows hop along the branches. Suddenly, he barked loudly. Mira looked up, alarmed. Across the street, she saw a stray goat stuck between two fences, unable to move. Without a second thought, Mira ran to Moti and he led the way. Using his small but strong teeth, Moti pulled at a loose rope that had trapped the goat. Mira helped him gently. After a few minutes, the goat was free and ran off into the field, bleating happily. People nearby clapped and smiled. Mira hugged Moti tightly. "You did it again. You are the bravest little dog ever." The next morning, Mira woke to find Moti sitting by the window, looking outside with a serious expression. She noticed he was alert, ears pointed and eyes sharp. Mira wondered what had caught his attention. She followed his gaze and saw a delivery truck reversing too quickly near her street. Moti barked loudly and ran toward the gate. Mira ran after him and saw that the driver had not noticed a small child playing with a ball behind the truck. Moti ran straight toward the child, barking loudly. The child froze and the driver stopped the truck just in time. Mira reached the spot, panting and worried. She hugged the child and thanked Moti for his quick action. Once again, the little dog had saved someone from danger without hesitation. Mira's admiration for Moti grew every day. She realized that saving a stray dog had brought not just a friend into her life, but a protector who looked after others too. People in the town began telling stories about the little girl and her brave dog. Children in the neighborhood wanted to be near Moti, and even adults felt a sense of comfort seeing him around. One evening, while Mira and Moti were walking near the river, she sat down on a small bench. Moti rested his head on her lap, and she stroked his fur gently. "Moti," she whispered, "you have changed my life completely. I never imagined that helping a little stray dog could bring so much happiness and courage into my life." Moti wagged his tail slowly and licked her hand. It was a quiet moment of understanding between them. Mira felt a deep connection with him, a bond stronger than words. She realized that Moti's presence in her life was a gift. He had taught her about courage, loyalty, and kindness in a way that no one else could. That night, as she went to bed, Mira looked at Moti sleeping peacefully on his rug. She smiled and whispered, "Thank you for being my friend, my hero, and my protector. I promise I will always take care of you." Moti twitched his ears and wagged his tail in his sleep as if answering her promise. Mira closed her eyes with a sense of peace. She knew that together, they could face anything, and that Moti's bravery would continue to touch the lives of everyone around them. Little did she know, the coming days would bring a challenge that would test Moti's loyalty and courage in ways even greater than before. But with their bond, Mira and Moti were ready to face whatever came next. It was a bright morning when Mira woke up feeling excited. The birds sang loudly outside her window and the air smelled fresh after a gentle rain the night before. Moti was already awake, sitting near the window, looking outside with his sharp eyes. Mira noticed that he seemed more alert than usual. "Good morning, Moti," she said softly, scratching behind his ears. "Why are you so serious today?" Moti barked lightly and wagged his tail. Mira laughed. "All right, little friend. Let's go see what the day brings." After breakfast, Mira decided to walk with Moti to the small park near her house. She liked the park because it had green grass, flowers, and a small playground. Children ran around flying kites and playing with balls. Moti enjoyed the park too. He ran freely, sniffing around, chasing butterflies, and occasionally sitting close to Mira to watch her smile. While they were walking near the edge of the park, Moti suddenly stopped. His ears perked up and he stared at a thick bush nearby. He barked softly, then ran toward the bush. Mira followed, curious about what he had found. When she reached the bush, she gasped. Behind it was a small, narrow path leading to an abandoned house at the end of the park. The house was old, with broken windows and overgrown grass. People in the town said it was empty and a little scary. Many children avoided it, and adults kept their distance. Moti barked again and ran toward the door. Mira hesitated. "Moti, do you think we should go inside?" she whispered. But Moti looked at her as if asking her to trust him. His tail wagged slightly and he barked once more. Taking a deep breath, Mira followed him. The door creaked loudly as she pushed it open. Inside, the house smelled old and dusty. Sunlight shone through the broken windows, creating patterns on the floor. Moti sniffed the air carefully and walked ahead, guiding Mira deeper into the house. Suddenly, Moti stopped at a small pile of old boxes near the corner. He barked repeatedly and pawed at one of the boxes. Mira walked closer and lifted the lid. Her eyes widened. Inside, she saw a small bag filled with letters, photographs, and a few old coins. The papers looked very old, and the photographs showed people from long ago dressed in clothes that belonged to another time. "This is amazing, Moti," Mira whispered. "You found something important." Moti barked again and nudged the bag toward her as if telling her to take it home. Mira carefully picked it up. She could feel that the bag contained stories of the past. She looked at Moti with amazement. "I think we just discovered a secret, little hero." On their way home, Mira kept glancing at the bag, her mind full of questions. Who did the letters belong to? Why were they left in that abandoned house? She felt excited and nervous at the same time. Moti walked beside her, calm and confident, as if he knew they were meant to find this treasure. At home, Mira showed the bag to her mother. Sunita gasped. "These letters are very old, Mira. They might belong to someone who lived here many years ago." "You found something truly special." Mira opened the letters carefully. They were full of stories about the town, family memories, and small adventures. Some letters spoke of friendship, love, and hope. The photographs showed people smiling, playing, and celebrating festivals. It felt like opening a window to the past. Moti sat beside her, watching every movement. He seemed proud that he had guided Mira to this discovery. Every now and then, he would nudge her hand with his nose as if sharing her excitement. Over the next few days, Mira and Moti explored the abandoned house carefully. They found more boxes with old books, small tools, and drawings made by children long ago. Each discovery made Mira's eyes shine brighter. She realized that the house was like a time capsule, holding memories that could have been lost forever. One afternoon, while Mira was arranging the letters and photographs at home, Moti barked loudly. Mira turned around to see him standing near the window, looking outside with alert eyes. She followed his gaze and saw smoke rising from a small corner of the street near the park. Something was burning. Without hesitation, Mira grabbed a small bucket and Moti ran ahead. When they reached the spot, they saw that a pile of dry leaves and trash had caught fire. Moti barked loudly, alerting neighbors nearby. Mira quickly threw water from the bucket onto the fire while Moti stayed close to her, making sure no one stepped too close. The neighbors rushed to help, and together they put out the fire. Everyone thanked Mira and Moti for noticing the danger early. "If you had not come, the fire could have spread to the houses," said one neighbor. Moti barked happily, wagging his tail, proud of the work he had done. After that incident, people in the town started seeing Moti not just as a pet, but as a small hero. Children admired him, neighbors respected him, and everyone appreciated the little dog who had a brave heart and a keen sense of danger. Mira realized that saving Moti long ago had changed her life in many ways. She now had a friend who was loyal, brave, and intelligent. He was not just by her side for fun or comfort. Moti was someone who looked out for others, understood her feelings, and even helped the town in small ways. One evening, as Mira sat with Moti on the balcony, she held one of the old photographs they had found. It showed a little girl sitting under a tree with her dog, smiling at the camera. Mira looked at Moti and whispered, "It feels like history is repeating itself, little friend. Just like that girl and her dog, we are making memories that others will remember." Moti barked softly and rested his head on her lap. He seemed to understand completely. Mira felt a deep sense of happiness. She knew that their bond was special, more than anyone could see. It was a connection built on trust, love, and shared adventures. From that day on, Mira and Moti continued exploring the town, helping people, and finding little stories that had been forgotten. Moti guided her to small discoveries, warned her of dangers, and brought joy wherever they went. Their lives were intertwined, and every day brought new lessons about courage, kindness, and friendship. Mira thought often about how one small act of saving a stray dog had led to so much. She realized that Moti's presence in her life was not just chance. It was fate, and the bond they shared would continue to grow stronger, guiding them toward even greater adventures and unforgettable moments. Little did Mira know, a very important discovery was still waiting for them in the abandoned house, something that would change not only their lives but the lives of everyone in the town. Moti, with his loyal heart, would once again play the key role, showing that bravery and love can create miracles in the most unexpected ways.